Hello everyone, this is Kimberly Greenwell and we are here at Heitzman's Bakery with another Louisville Wedding Network Facebook Live, and we're going to show you all kinds of great information about planning your big day. And here with us today is Jason Mosley with JM Entertainment, and we have John Howard with
John Howard Bartending.
John Howard Bartending, and we have Jamie Watt with Events for You, and we have Marguerite Schad with Heitzman's Bakery, who is so kind to host us every month. So, John, we'll start with you because I have questions already pre-prepared for this. So, how do you do the pricing when it comes to the bartending, which is a very important part of the reception?
Exactly. Yeah. So, how we operate is we'll sit down with you and your loved ones who are going to be planning, the wedding, and essentially it just goes by how many people are going to be in attendance, to how the duration of the event, and depending on that, we'll give you a final price at the end, like once you finalize the numbers.
And you work a lot with the caterer, Marguerite over here, and you guys kind of work together to make sure you have everything that you need for the evening.
That's true. I mean, as far as the bartending, whether it be liquor, the beer, wine, that sort of thing, we usually take care of like the iced tea, the lemonade, water, coffee at dessert time. But the bartending service is one of the things that really stands out to the crowd because it's one of those things that kind of gets the ball rolling for the crowd and for the evening. So yeah, we do work as a team when it comes to that. It kind of all comes together towards the end. And those 4 hours of what the wedding reception seems to go and just fly by, just because everything goes so smoothly. We do the food, we do the small drinks like the iced tea and all that, and he finishes it up with the bartending.
And lots of times this is the first time someone has ever hired a caterer and hired a bartender. So what are some of the things that they need to know when they're hiring these 2 important parts of a wedding reception separately?
Well, go ahead.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
I think that they need to know that we, as Louisville Wedding Network, we normally refer very responsible vendors, that we can count on them, that we know they're going to show up on time, we know they're going to come in and do their jobs. All of these vendors are all members and they do that. When I'm creating an itinerary for a reception and there's a certain timeline, I expect things to be done in order to be set up for these guests to be ready to walk into. I can count on all of these people to be there, be ready to go when we're ready to go.
And what are some of the questions that you need to ask a caterer or a bartending service?
Well, as far as the food goes, I think the biggest thing, what time of the year is it going to be? If it happens to be summertime, a lot of times heavy appetizers might be the way to go. You're still going to fill people up, but it's still going to be smaller portions just because of the heat and that sort of thing. Drinks are very popular during those kind of months, so we need to kind of structure that just to make sure everything goes as planned. Colors are huge too. We want to kind of see where your color scheme is going, who you're working for as a florist. It just kind of falls in place once you kind of get those key questions out there so that we can kind of start your planning purpose.
And we don't want to leave you out, Jason. So you have a photo booth, but you also have a DJ service, which is also a very important part of the reception.
So I would say this, everything goes hand in hand from the time the wedding reception starts. Especially in the entertainment business, this is all entertainment. From the food that you eat, that is a form of entertainment. From the time you walk in, you're excited to sit down, you're among family and friends, to eat, enjoy wonderful food, have drinks and bond and catch up with old friends. And it's very important, I'd say, as a whole, that everybody kind of works together. So again, kind of piggybacking off what she's saying, it's super important for all of us to work together by knowing how they operate, by being an MC, letting the guests know what the drinks of choice are and things like that. So everything runs in a timely manner, as Jamie said. So it runs, your event runs smoothly, on time, and it just seems that just effortlessly flows throughout the night. And at the end of the night, you're kind of walking away going, wow, we had a really good time.
And Jamie, you mentioned agenda a few minutes back, and when you think of a wedding reception, you don't think of an agenda per se, right, as the guest,
Mhm.
but an agenda is a very important word for a reception because everything has a place, everything has a specific time.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a run a show for any production, which I'm sure you're familiar with. We do timelines for the wedding, the reception. We even do timelines for the overall day of. I'm more comfortable when I know where everyone is, from the time they start their day that morning getting ready all the way through the end of the night when they leave their reception. Okay, we basically have it all scripted to the couple's satisfaction. They've approved it, they're right on board with us, they know what's going to happen, and exactly as they said, there's very little room for error if we write it up correctly and we have the bride and groom's blessing.
And sometimes things happen, which is wonderful that you guys work together so often because, you know, I've heard stories about how it was raining and Mike Gaddy, who is the current president of the Louisville Wedding Network, chipped in and helped Marguerite with the food and helped you carry in stuff and helped with the photo booth or the DJ. And you guys, you know, the people that you're choosing for your wedding, they're your team. And it's really important that you pick good teammates. Isn't that right, Jason?
Absolutely, and as she was saying, just it's almost like in a sense of a script as a show. What we mean by that is when you have seasoned people that you work with, and everybody knows how this works day in, day out. When there is tiny little things, this is a drama-free, stress-free day. This is your magical day. So when this all goes down, if there's tiny little hiccups, because nothing is perfect and things happen, there's so many little things we can do because we know where we can make up time and afford to lose time. So if we're having an issue to where something, say the food, it's something beyond our control, knock on wood, there's a wreck, and things are kind of shifted a certain way. I know we can get cocktails on the way. I can pop up a photo booth, entertain guests, and I know she's on top of it to keep things in order. So no matter which way we go, it's gonna go smooth for you, and that's the key important thing, to have people that can simply say, hey, I've done this for years and I know what we need to do and we'll make it work. That's not going to freak out under pressure.
I will have to say that the experience kind of speaks for itself. I mean, you know, we had to go through hurdles to literally get in this group, and a lot of us have been here like 15, 17 years. I mean, a very long time. So these are people that you can trust. We care about each bride and groom that we actually work with. The relationship almost has to be like a marriage. You know, we do have to connect. We kind of have to see their good points, their bad points. But what really makes it just so spectacular is just the relationship that we have as a team. You know, whether you're talking bar or whether you're talking coordinator or say DJ, photo booth. I mean, it's what we need to make your day beautiful. And it's all it takes is just a little bit of time, going to the bridal shows and all that. A lot of these you can find everything that you need at a bridal show to make your day special. And with that, you can make yourself a day of memories that'll last forever.
Come meet us. Come meet us at the next show. There's so many great people at all the shows, at the Louisville Wedding Network shows, that I think that if you haven't made any decisions after talking to all of the professionals that are in the Louisville Wedding Network, I truly believe that will give you a great level of comfort that we can, in fact, plan your wedding.
Well, one of the great things is you can ask one-on-one questions with all of you. And, you know, again, this is the first time someone has ever planned an event to this magnitude lots of times. And this is the first time they've hired a bartender and an entertainment person and a caterer and a wedding planner. I mean, this is a really big deal. And when you have all these decisions to make and you don't know if you're making the right one and you don't know what budget you need to be, and you're spending a lot of money on a wedding. And one thing that needs to be said too is that if you use 2 or more members of the Louisville Wedding Network, you get a 5% discount.
And kind of going off that, using more members, another way to kind of look at that, obviously monetarily it's nice, but I will say this, when as Marguerite said, the things we've gone through to be a part of this, It's a special thing, and we take it very seriously, and we develop, friendships. So the difference in that, what you need to know is, coming from somebody that was just married this year, myself, there's a lot of moving parts, and everyone has a job, but there's a lot of little in-between things, and it works so much better when we're all close enough and build a relationship. I know, yes, I do entertainment stuff, and that's what I do, but I consider them my friends. So if there's something that if I'm, for a moment, my hands are free and she needs me, hey, we're friends.
Right.
We're at these meetings together. Hey, I got you, whatever you need. So, because the goal is that everybody coordinates together and works as a team to make your event, the best day it can be. So it's important.
And talking about the best day it can be, before someone hires you guys, I'm sure that there's a few questions that they should ask. So let's go down the line here and just state a couple questions that you should definitely ask a person before you hire them for your event. And we'll start with you, Jason.
So one of the things is, as far as entertainment stuff goes, if it's a photo booth, it's super important to know exactly what you're getting in and space, and that goes great with a coordinator. They can stay on top of that as well. But how much space they need for stuff like that, depending upon the size of your venue, where you want to put those things, and how do they record those memories as far as that. As far as entertainment MC side of it goes, I think it's super important to just sit back and ask them, and here's the trick of the trade of this, and they can all agree with this, is there's a lot of folks out there. We're going to give you, this is kind of behind the scenes, a little, the real side of how your event is. If you go to all these folks and you ask them and say, hey, do you do this, do you do this, do you do this? 9 times out of 10, if they just start a business tomorrow, they're going to say, absolutely, I do that. Sit back, take notes, first off, and ask them, what all do you do? Take notes, and then compare. Because I will say this, there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts as far as your wedding. It's not just as simple as hitting play or just going, well, I make an announcement. Well, I color code a chart for a thing. No, there's so much more. So I could go on for days on all the questions. We just strongly advise and ask you to come sit down with us. Come sit down with us, and we'll tell you all you need to know and stuff to talk about, and go from there.
John?
Yeah, I think at least from the beverage side of things, first of all, is it indoor or outdoor? That would also, if it's outdoor, you would have to get about double the ice that you would need. More coolers, to keep things cool, cold. Also, is it just going to be beer and wine? Do you want, past cocktails? Is it just a cocktail hour? So that's another thing, to kind of think about, as your day goes on. Do you want just a specialty cocktail, for just the cocktail hour? Or do you want it through the duration of the whole event? So.
And your budget too is a big thing, because
Absolutely.
that's, are you going to have half of it cash bar and half of it on open bar, that sort of thing.
Right. Well, and how we operate too is, you all provide the alcohol and we provide the services. So in that way, it would save you quite a bit of money. We are also, fully licensed and insured. So if any of your, venues require that, we could provide that. And we do travel outside of the Louisville area. So.
Janie?
I think the biggest question I'd ask is, what do you expect of your vendors? Myself as a coordinator and or planner, what do you need the most? What services do you value the most? A lot of my clients want me to come in and literally do everything start to finish, which no problem, we've got your back, we will do that. Others have done some of the work and just need a day of coordinator to kind of pull it all together after the families have done the work. Okay, price, ask the question, what do you charge? What do you charge extra for? Everything that they need to know, ask it up front. Know what your fees are up front, no matter what vendor you're working with. Make sure you know it all.
All right.
Okay, as far as the catering end goes and the food, I mean, it's really, you got 3 different factors. You've got appetizers, you've got your main dinner, and then you got midnight snack. Again, it's going to be 4 hours since everybody's ate, so you want to kind of think about the midnight snack because it kind of helps absorb some of that liquor that we've got going on for 4 hours. But what do you want your dinner to be? Do you want it to be plated? Do you want it to be a buffet? Is it a barn atmosphere? Is it a little bit more traditional? So we really just need to find some key words to kind of make your day special. And it's all about them. You know, this is their day. Whatever they want, we can make it happen. Whether it be fresh flowers from Lloyd's Florist, the coordinating of, you know, how the kids go down the aisle and all that kind of thing, all that's coordinated by Jamie. You know, these are steps that we need questions answered. And once we get, I would say probably about 10 to 12 questions answered, we can kind of make your day special. And as far as the food goes, carving stations, whether it be a buffet, the appetizers we can pass, or you can have an actual table set up that can kind of stay out for 2 or 3 hours. But it's really all about their day and how elegant you want it to be, or casual.
Well, and themes are really important as well.
Things are very big.
You know, and because that goes to the event part of the reception. And a lot of people don't know, Marguerite, that they need to have the venue before they call you. You need to also know what kind of flowers that they're having and what kind of table arrangements they're having, because all of that feeds into your job.
It does, because you've got silverware, you've got plates to figure, you've got your napkin colors that you have to choose. Again, all these are things that are going to make your day special because you've always dreamed of this beautiful day to be perfect. So, I mean, it just kind of, you know, these questions together with Jamie and myself as we sit down with the bride, I mean, all these questions are answered with our help. And they're very easy, and a lot of times the bride will just kind of sit back and let us handle the situation, and it really makes it nice.
Sometimes we pull a little bit of information out of them, and that's okay. Others have full-on books. They know exactly what they want. We appreciate those just as much, if not more. But the more information that you provide us, the better your day is going to be. And then we're going to put it all together for you so that you can just relax and enjoy your day.
Do we have any questions, Christina? No? Any closing thoughts on entertainment and receptions and weddings in general?
So exactly what they said, that everybody, you know, mentally one way or another, whether you go on a vacation or you talk to somebody on the phone for the first time, you can't help but, you know, envision what it looks like, what it's going to be. And there's nothing worse than picturing something to be a certain way, and then you get there and you're just like, this is not what I was thinking. So exactly, you know, what you guys are saying is super important. Also on the entertainment side, we want to do the same thing. I want to make sure the lighting is the way you want it, the photo booth set where you want it, and we also, as an MC, what type of vibe, what type of atmosphere you want to create. You know, today's technology, anybody can hit play and let some music play, but working with somebody because they have a vision of how they want it. But my job as an MC is to bring that to life. So I have to be able to see that, recognize it, and put it into play.
I've seen people where they've spent zero money on music or photography,
And they
it's
pay
been,
for it.
Oh, it's been the longest evening. So get a professional. I mean, I can only, I've seen the worst, I've seen the best, but have professionals like Jason really take it over and make it fun. I mean, this is what people will remember. There's nothing worse than going to a wedding and the food's terrible. There's nothing worse than going and the entertainment's terrible. Again, these are things that we do for a living. You know, this is what we want to do to make your day special.
Or the tiny maker breakers, talking about coordination with her, is that we've all seen, that little things that you're there enjoying the wedding, but you don't stop to think of until it's too late. And one of those things we'll give you a little helpful clue on is, let's say that we work well, we're doing all these things, and I make this grand announcement for everybody to go over to her beautiful cake, and the timeline's set, and everybody goes over, they ooh and they ah, and you come back from your honeymoon and you're flipping through your pictures, and you go, we don't have any cake cutting pictures. Well, that's why it's so important for coordination if all of us work together, because for the simple fact is, maybe the photographer's in the middle of changing lenses, flashes, batteries, and that takes somebody that seasons to know that. Even though that is not my job per se, I know, as well as you guys do as well, all of us know that we have to line these things up.
We stage everything.
Yeah, so you don't miss out on your big moments. That's so
That's a very good point.
Yeah, it's super important.
We stage it all so that you don't miss anything. I actually give the bride a list of potential photography spots, what they want, what they don't want, and let them fill in. Most of the time the moms have like a 4-page list for the poor photographer, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what they want, and we give it to them every single time.
Well, another thing to mention too is that you're going to have guests there at your reception for a half an hour to 45 minutes before you get there because of the photography. So it's important to have some type of entertainment for them while they're waiting.
Photo booth.
Yeah.
They love it. And the past hors d'oeuvres.
Or
He's
cocktails.
pouring drinks. He's
Yeah.
pouring drinks, and I usually have happy guests by the time we get the bride and groom inside. Everybody's nice and chilled. They're hungry a little bit, but they know they're going to be fed a wonderful meal. And I never worry about anything when I work with these guys.
All right, anything else?
LouisvilleWeddingNetwork.com.
5% discount. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you joining us today at home. We appreciate you watching this Facebook Live, and be sure to reach out to us with any questions you might have, and LouisvilleWeddingNetwork.com for a list of upcoming events.